Good morning. We are on. We had a hard time this morning with some of the technical issues, and I'm hoping. Good morning, everybody. Do me a favor. Could you invite somebody to share? Will you do that for me? Invite somebody to share. So we're getting closer and closer to finding out who's the next president of the United States is going to be. And the closer we get, the more we know. As it stands now, Vice President Biden has taken the lead and has maintained the lead, but we're still waiting for more votes to be counted before they declare a winner. And in the process of waiting, there is so much that I think people need to know in regards to Black America. Is this thing freezing on you all's end? Is it freezing on your end? If it's freezing on your end, I'm going to have to jump off and give it a minute before I jump back on. Joanne, God's chosen vessel, I am so sorry to hear that. I am so sorry to hear that. We'll be praying for you and your family. Thanks for joining us this morning with, I'm sure, a heavy heart that you have. I speak life to you, peace and comfort, and definitely we'll be praying for you and your family. Thank you for sharing it and starting a watch party. That breaks my heart. That breaks my heart first thing this morning to hear that. All right. So I am freezing. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sign off. I'm going to sign off and give this thing probably about 5 or 10 minutes. I kind of know what the problem is and why it's freezing, but I needed to give it a minute. So I'm gonna sign off. You all meet me back here at about 9 o'clock, 5 after 9, and we'll resume our discussion. I don't want it freezing. I think what we have to talk about this morning is so important. I don't want it freezing. So, and then it's going to give me an opportunity to kind of pull my composure together. Joanne, God's chosen vessel. I really hate to hear that. So I'm going to reset this. I will be back. Let's just say 10 minutes after 9 to get this thing. We're having technical issues on this end. It's not supposed to be freezing. So once we fix that, then I'll be back. And here's what I need to do. When we come back, I need everybody to invite somebody. Look like it's all right. So I'm going to repeat that again because we're having technical difficulties. We're going to continue with this conversation about 9:05. I really hate to. I'm trying to give it some time to see if it will clear up on its own. Derek Destico, no, it's not the Mac, it's the internet connection. Thank you so much, sir, for being so concerned. It's the internet connection. You all give me about to 9:05 and I'll be back. When I come back, we're going to continue this. We're going to continue this at Subliminal Messages. Why Black Americans want Trump and all connected to him out. This is, Maurice says it's clear on his end and not freezing. I have two monitors on one of the monitors. It's clear. On the other monitor, it's not. So look like it clear it up on its own. Look at there. Look at there. It's clear now. That's good. That's good. So we don't have to reset it, restart it. So we can just start our conversation. First and foremost, I want to be clear, and I want you all to take note of those who are for us. I want you to take note for those who are for us. It's cleared all the way up. God be praised for that. I'm grateful for that. So let me do my good mornings. My brother is on, Maurice Mo Henderson. That's my bro. So let me start back from the beginning. Let's do our good mornings and we'll conclude from there. Trina, good morning. Erica Austin, good morning. Rhonda Oliver, good morning. Joanne Chosen Vessel, good morning again. Georgia Murray, good morning. Kendall Oliver, what up, cuz? Good morning. Valerie Cook Val, good morning. Angie Brown, good morning. Andrew Brown, good to see you. Hopefully all is well with you and your health. Edith Hodges, good morning. Praying for you. LaMonica Spratling, good morning. Eunice Poole, what up, sis? Rhonda Oliver, good morning. Derek Destico, good morning, sir. Wynette Smith, good morning. Good morning again to my bro, Maurice Mo Henderson. Wynette, Sarah Jones, good morning. Joanne Singleton Mitchell, good morning. Jaquil Anisha Hutno, good morning. Level Up NP. I don't know where y'all come up with some of these names. Good morning, Tina. Missy Jones, good morning. She says Georgia turned blue. First time since Clinton in 1992. We partying hard over Chia. Hey, Missy, I am with you completely on that. I'm partying with you. We're going to talk about a little bit of that this morning. So I think it should be said, one of the things that Trump office has done, it has forced people to the polls on both sides. Trump represents something in America. He represents to a great deal the heart of what America is. He represents to a great deal. He's a reflection of the bigotry, the racism, chauvinistic, narcissist, all of these things that rest in America. He, in some large regard, he is a reflection. He's the mirror. He's the reflection. He's the face, the voice, and the heart of what this country is. And I think it needs to be noted that one of the reasons Black America want him out is not only what he represents or reflects, but he's also a magnet that pulls out the hatred, the disdain, and the unfairness that rest in this country. He has given them a platform to rebuild, and not hide. When you ask white America, a lot of white evangelicals, why they like Trump, the majority of them will tell you, well, we like Trump because he's not a politician. I want to say good morning to my Periscope family that's following, YouTube family, both pages on Facebook. The numbers that you see do not reflect the numbers that I see. Those of you on Facebook, across all these platforms, there are different numbers. But I want to say good morning to all 80 of y'all that are joining us, and the numbers are still going up. But he has been a magnet for people to be able to justify the haughtiness, the arrogance that is coupled with racism. And one of the problems with that is we knew, or we know, that racism is not dead in America. I'm sorry. But to a great deal, we had come so far as a country where I do believe it was dying in some measure. In some areas, it was dying. But a Trump government gives it a permission to not only come out and be bold, but to basically plant seeds of hatred throughout our nation. This Trump government has been the laughingstock of the world. Many of the world trades, many of the allies that we used to have, a lot of the relationships that the Obama government mended to help bring peace were amended. Trump basically cut off. And I don't want to make this about Obama, but if you look at what Obama has done in terms of policies, the reason he's hated, one of the reasons he's hated, is that the core of America, the core of mankind, is plagued by the disease of money. They don't care that Trump hates, he's racist, he's narcissistic, he hates women. They don't care about that as long as he protect their money. And we know that there's a scripture in the Bible that says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. What do roots do? Roots control fruit. So if the love of money is the root of all evil, then the fruit that's hanging on the tree is contaminated because of what's in the root. Whatever's in the root gets into the fruit. And for the first time in the history of America since the 1800s, we've seen this hatred for blacks and minorities resurface to a large extent. And this Trump government is the one that stimulated it. I want to read. I want to read something real quick before I go any further. When we talk about subliminal message, it's actually a marketing term. It's basically the ability to hide the core of the message. A lot of times you may hear a commercial, you see a commercial on TV, you hear a commercial on radio, on TV. The fine print is hidden, and that's considered subliminal because it is not before your eyes. It does not appeal to the conscious mind. In most cases, it's so small or so narrow that if it's not pointed out, you wouldn't be able to know that it's there. There is a message that is being sent to minorities, to African Americans with this Trump government. One of the reasons I came out and I called names of black organization, black pastors who did not embrace our cause. Just because they're black don't mean they're right. And I'm telling you all. So listen to this. If let's go Bible. If Pharaoh, who was an oppressor and an abuser of Israel, he made them build houses without straw, without brick, clay. He was a horrible leader. If Pharaoh hated the Israelites, God's chosen people, would you go in business with Pharaoh knowing he hated your people? That's a question. And you can put it on the screen. I want to read your answers. I'm going to say it again. Here's the question. If Pharaoh hated the Israelites, the Jews, God's chosen people, would you go in business with Pharaoh? While you're typing your answers, I'm going to show you both sides. One side, there is no way I can go in business with someone who is the lead cause of oppression to the people that look like me. Lynette says, absolutely not. Rhonda Oliver says, no. It's equivalent to dope dealers in our day. One of the problems we have with dope dealers is that you are pushing poison, another poison, in our communities to our loved ones. You're responsible for them dying because you want to get ahead financially instead of getting a job and doing it right like the rest of us. Valerie Cook Val said, no, sir. Wynette Smith says, no way on this green earth. So I'm not going to be the source or the problem to oppress people that look like me. Now, that's one side. Here's the other side. I'm not going to be the source of the problem to oppress anybody, even if they don't look like me. So there's a heart that I believe I have for my people. I'm a black man. I'm proud to be black. I believe love is for everybody, but when it comes to our gift and what God has given us, I believe he's called me to my people. Can other cultures, other ethnicities enjoy the fruit from what God has placed inside of me? Yeah. Will I discriminate? No. But I'm called on my own first. I can't go help other ethnicities and cultures, and I'm not done due diligence with the people that look like me. It's like on my block, if there are 5 homeless people, and I drive down my block every day and I see these homeless people and I never offer to lift a hand, yet I'm sending money down to Africa to help them people, or I'm sending money to Europe or Asia. So I don't want to satisfy or fix the problem on my block, but I'm willing to go out of the country to help them resolve their problem. Something's wrong with that. Even the Bible speaks against that. It said that the gospel had to be preached throughout the world, in Judea, Samaria, and then the utmost part of the world. Judea, your neighborhood. Samaria kind of represents your state. And then the utmost part of the world, everything that stands outside of that. You can't be the answer to problems outside of your neighborhood if you're not the answer to your own. This is why I don't understand some Christian Americans as it relates to foreign mission. I do believe that we should be mission driven, but sometimes the mission that we need is on our own block. We got more homeless people downtown. Every year, this is going on our 4th year, I believe, We give them blankets and socks and toiletries to help them. We can't house them yet. I believe the day is going to come when God's going to drop the money in my hands as well as the favor so that we can do those things that we need to do, so that we don't pacify the problem, but we satisfy the problem by being the answer to the problem. I think it's just a matter of time. But we feed them, we give them clothes, we give them blankets. That work doesn't stop, and it's year round. Well, I don't think that I can be the answer to anybody's problem around the world, and I'm not been a part of the solution to the problem that's right here in my own city. And we can justify it however you want. You can say whatever you want, but it's kind of hard to be the answer to a problem outside your own house and you've not been the answer inside your house. It's hypocritical. It's hypocritical. So I do believe that race matter. I do believe. I don't think white people are wrong for looking out for white people. I don't think Jews are wrong for looking out for Jews. I think black people are wrong for not looking out for black people when every other culture look out for their own but us. We find a reason to hate each other. We find a reason to not support each other. We find something wrong with somebody so that we can say why we don't support them. But turn around and give our money to people who are a part of our oppression. And I don't understand it. It's a thinking problem. It's psychological. We hate ourselves, and we have to amend that hate with love. We have to get to a place where we don't use excuses on why we don't support each other. There's a restaurant that I go to. There are restaurants that I go to that are black owned. I still try to keep my money in the black neighborhood. I still support black. And what white America and some black people want you to believe, if race doesn't matter, we're all one, the only color we see is red, you a lie. Because when you're at that red light, if all you see is red, you stop at that red light, but when it turns green, you go. I don't want to hear that. And let me tell you how I know that race is important to God and it should be important to you. When Jesus came, he came to die for the world. That was his mission of life, to die for the world. But the Bible says he went to the Jews first. He went to the people that looked like him. He went to his own, and they received him not. Then he took his gospel, the message of love and peace, to the rest of the world. But he dealt with his own first. So there is nothing wrong with dealing with our own first. We're not going to segregate the answers that we have against other ethnicities. We're not saying we hate everybody else. We're just saying we have a first obligation in keeping first things first. I have to go to those that look like me, for they are me first. So I have a problem with black preachers, black pastors who submit to white people who have partnered with Trump. There's a subliminal message there that they are strengthening. To some degree, they are strengthening the hand of the enemy. If I partner with Pharaoh, and Pharaoh is responsible for oppressing my people, I become a part of the oppression that Pharaoh is delivering. He's delivering, and I become a part of it. I become the hand that strengthens the hand of my enemy, of my oppressor. And you can hide it in scripture. Like some are so clever. Paula White. Oh, daughter, if you're hearing me, Paula, I did call your daughter. Have a seat. Paula White built her ministry, her name off of the backs of black people. We made her rich. We did. When Zachary Timms went home to be with the Lord, who's a black man, Paula White took over his church, with black people. And she sucked the pot dry. Well, if I'm supporting Paula White's ministry and she is an avid Trump supporter, she's been a Trump supporter. This didn't just start. She has a condo in Trump Towers that he gave her. And I support her ministry. I am now responsible for everything that Trump does, because let me tell you something about money. Money represents your life. We spend, on average, 40 hours a week on our jobs for a paycheck. So if I spend my time is my life. The 40 hours that I put in, I do that in exchange for money. That money represents my time, and that money represents my life. So if I'm going to invest my life in someone, it should be invested in someone who has an answer for me. So I don't care if you preach, sing, jump, roll. I don't care what you do. If I'm going to invest my life with you, then you ought to have some answers for me. And it makes me feel some kind of way when I hear more TV evangelists have come clean as to their support for Trump. And when we see these people, because we have cell phones now, we have smartphones, we're able to record it. More is being, we can see more. Because we can see more, we know more. We didn't know all these people, how they felt in their heart. A-Train and I had a discussion yesterday, and I said, I just find it hard to believe we're talking about a black person who passes black people. And I said, I find it hard to believe that he's partnered with Kenneth Copeland. I don't believe Kenneth Copeland was, because he's pro-Trump, by the way. I don't believe he's been that guy his entire ministry. I've followed him since I was a kid. And Train said to me, well, you think he made a change all of a sudden? I said, well, I think he changed in time. You know, when people get rich, they start changing their mind. Their level of consciousness shifts. Money does that to you. And you don't know if you never had it, but money will change you. And he said to me, Train said to me, no, he said, Pickett, he said, we have more access now, so we're able to see the things that they've hidden. My point in saying that is Kenneth Copeland, Paula White, all of them built their ministries, all black people. Benny Hinn. Never mind that Benny Hinn was seen in Rome with Paula White. That ain't none of our business. Ooh. Coming out the hotel holding hands. And maybe I shouldn't have brought that up, because that was before he went back to his wife. He and his wife have reconciled since then, so there's forgiveness and grace for that. But whenever we take our life, our money, our livelihood, and invest it in someone who stands with a modern day Nebuchadnezzar, whenever we do that, we are strengthening the hand of the enemy. This is a problem that I had with Ice Cube and Kanye West. First of all, Kanye, sir, we know you don't have a fighting chance to become president because mentally you're unstable. Psychologically, there are some issues there. So black America that voted for Kanye, that pulled away the votes that should have gone to Biden in this spinoff. When Ice Cube comes with this plan to offer black America all this money, and he said Trump signed off on it. First of all, Ice Cube never spoke with Trump. I don't know if you guys watch Roland Martin, but it's a great source of information. I love Roland. He is a king amongst peasants. Roland is that guy. You want to know the truth in the news? and it's not tainted by the commentary of the owner, he owns all his stuff, he can give you the truth and don't have to apologize for it because he's built a great platform. So y'all make sure y'all support Roland Martin. Send him some money. I send him some. I support what he does. I think we all should. He is for us. He's one of us. He looks like us. You ought to watch Roland Martin live. But he never spoke with Trump. The person that's over that advisory board that the guy's last name is Brown, he would have had to have spoken to in order to push this initiative of getting black people money. He didn't even speak to him. What this was is Trump sent one of his Indians or one of his peons to meet with Ice Cube, gave him a verbal agreement, said we're going to make some tweets, but we're going to do it. And it was just to sway the votes. And what we've got to do as a people, we have got to stop supporting organizations, ministries, preachers, businesses, and any entity that does not stand for us. They shouldn't get our money. They shouldn't. They shouldn't. We've got to embrace people who have the guts to stand out and say things that need to be said. We've got to embrace them people. So there's an organization called ARC. The leader of that organization, ARC, it's a community of churches. The leader of that community has partnered with Trump. He's a Trump supporter. He sits on the board of Evangelicals for Trump. And ARC is responsible for a lot of successful churches. I believe in their work. I was a part of their organization. When I found out that the leader of the organization stood with Trump, I canceled my membership, my subscription, and I came on live and I talked about them, and I talked about the black churches that are still in it, in that organization. Some in Jacksonville, I called their name out. The Southern Baptist Convention, who stands with Donald Trump. That organization have black leaders a part of it. I called the black leaders out. I led worship for them a couple of years ago. They had my face all on the news,